Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Chance, and it's time to talk about some board games. Now today's going to be another hot takes video, and over the past 2 weeks I got in 3 games from the same publisher, DVC Games, and overall I had a great time with these games. So I just wanted to chat about these real quick, and I don't have a ton of time to edit. I got a ton of work to do today. So let's just get into these, and I'm going to kick things off with the one that I didn't like as much, but I found it super unique. This is Corvids. So Corvids is a game about being a Corvid. Raven, I think a choff, a nutcracker, whatever the Corvid species are. I don't know them all off the top of my head. But yeah, you are playing with a group of players, I believe 2 to 5 players, and you're going to be a Corvid. But essentially the game setup is you're throwing out this fabric mat on the table, and I love this idea of this setup where you have this deck of these mini cards, and you're just going to shuffle them up wildly, you're going to flip them over, shuffle them, and just mix them up as well as you can. Then you're basically just going to dump them onto that fabric mat. You're just going to mix them up, spread them out, and just throw them everywhere. And then you have like these feather tokens, the wooden feather tokens. You're just going to dump those on the mat, and you're basically ready to go. Now you're going to deal out each player a Corvid card, so they're going to take on that Corvid, and basically that Corvid is going to give them their asymmetric scoring abilities. And then the other cool thing is that this has kind of that thing where you have a kind of this character card that isn't revealed at the beginning of the game, and there's a thing that's going to reveal you and let people know what your objective is for the game. And I really enjoyed those types of features in games. So Corvid has a lot of stuff going for it that I was like, this sounds fun, sounds unique. That's why I kind of just tossed it in my order here to pick up the last game I'm going to be talking about. But then on a player's turn. Turns are super easy. You do up to 4 things, I think. You do a peck action, a pick action, and then you activate abilities, and then potentially steal. Now, the peck action is probably the most interesting part of the game. And this is where it's like representing you being a raven or something, right? Like, I feel like we probably all have watched birds kind of pick at a trash pile before, and they go in, they pick something up and like throw it, and then they go back in and grab something, and they're like, oh, I got what I needed, cool. So that's what this game is representing. You go in with these tweezers, and you can take any card, and then you just have to flip it over. You can be as gentle as you want. You can pick it up, set it back down, and be like, okay, that was good. And then, or you can just go in, grab that card, and then just try to flip over as much stuff as possible with that one card. Now, the caveat here is that if anything lands outside of the mat, then that thing is discarded, or those things are discarded from the game, and you're done for the turn. So you don't get to take that pick action. You don't get to increase your collection size, and that's kind of the goal of this. You want to have the fanciest collection for all the birds at the table. So that pick action is probably the most interesting, taking that risk of being like, oh, I'm going to try to like flip over a bunch of stuff, and yeah, and also the other part of this pack action is really uncovering nest, because everyone has a nest on the mat. And like I said, you don't know who's who at the beginning of the game, so there's a nest for each character card in the game, but you're not going to deal them all out. But maybe you want to take that peck action to uncover someone's nest, because then they have to reveal who they are and reveal their scoring criteria. So that's kind of the part that I really enjoyed about this game, was that peck action, the secret character card, the secret bird cards until you uncover that nest. And then after you do that peck action, you do a pick. Now pick is more specific. You take one card, you do not change its orientation, basically face up, face down. There's like double-sided cards in the game. There are some secret cards that might be face down. You get to activate the abilities when you get it into your tableau or whatever. But essentially, you have to take a card, and it has to be completely uncovered. There can be feathers on it, but it can't be covered by another card. So you can't like go digging into the pile for the one you're going to take. It's like, okay, you did your peck, you did your aggressive action. Now you're going to go in, you're going to carefully get that object that you found of interest, and then add that to your tableau. Then these objects it's kind of like a set collection. It's like, oh, I got some buttons, and buttons are going to score more points if you have more buttons, or acorns or whatever. Most things are going to score you 1 point at the end of the game. There's certain things like the coin, if you have it face down at the end of the game, it's going to score you like 3 points, but if it's face up, it's going to score you 1 point. So there's various criteria for why you want to select certain objects over other ones. Then of course you have your bird card, which is going to give you your other criteria. It's going to be like, oh, you want to have, I think the bird card I had was like, each item you have one of scores you an additional 2 points or something. So I didn't want to have sets of anything. I just wanted to have unique items in my tableau. And that created that created the interest of how you go about selecting things. Now, the other reason you might want to select things is, one, to activate their abilities. There's some various abilities in the game. Nothing nothing too complicated. The other thing is getting those feather tokens. So those wooden feather tokens, you can, at the end of your turn, if a player's nest is uncovered, so basically if they have their card revealed and they are still uncovered, you can actually steal from another player. You just have to spend 2 feathers. You're just going to dump those back in the center of the pile, and then you can take one of the objects that they have in their nest. You can go and steal from them. So that's basically the core of this game. Now, I want to call out that there's probably my favorite part of this is that the rulebook calls out during the pack action. Like when someone's going to flip some stuff over, it incentivizes you. It just says, hey, you might want to voice your displeasure by cawing at the other player. So you see them going for something, and maybe it's near your nest, and you're just like caw, caw. And then it's just it could kind of bring out the theme of this game a little bit, and it's entertaining at the table to have a group of adults making cawing noises at each other, being displeased with the objects that they're trying to flip over. So my thoughts on this game is that this is super unique, just super interesting, but it's not one that I really see playing again. Maybe I'll get it out one more time, but overall, that it doesn't have a lot to. There's no like tension in the game. There's not even that set collection. I didn't really find it very engaging. I found the mechanics of the game just to be interesting, the theming of the game to be interesting, and it was a good time. But maybe if I had kids or something, I would probably bring this one out more. Maybe get rid of that stealing mechanic or something. Maybe have it pay, instead of stealing, like pay 2 feathers to pick another card to take away that take that action in the game. So overall, it's just kind of like this game that is cool. It's unique. I'm glad it's in the space, and the dexterity is there's better dexterity games. There's better set collection games, and it just kind of there's nothing. There's no crunch to kind of make me want to go back. It's more of just an experience. It's an experience to play. So that's going to do it for my kind of hot take on Corvids. It's just a cool design. Comes in a cool box. Has a cool production. You know, I have a lot of good things to say about it, but just nothing that's bringing it back to the table for me. Okay, let's move on to the second game I want to talk about here from DVC Games, and this is going to be one that I like a lot more than Corvids, and this is going to be Scream Park. So Scream Park over here is a tableau building game. It's a drafting game, and I have a bit of a fraught relationship with drafting games because, Seven Wonders is kind of like that's the top tier for a lot of people, or it's like maybe it's just because that was one of the originals in the hobby or whatever, and it can play up to like 7 or 8 people. I don't know. It can play a boatload of people. I played it probably like 4 times, and I have never enjoyed Seven Wonders. I just don't care for the drafting in that game at all. I don't like the waiting for a card, hoping to see a card. Like, I don't get that excitement when I'm like, oh, that's the card I was looking for. And I don't know. It's kind of like you can just draw from the top of the deck and see if you get the card you want. Sure, you can pass cards around the table and hope that one returns to you or something at a lower player count. But overall, let's just leave it there. I do not have a strong preference for drafting games with large decks of cards. Like, I really enjoy the drafting in Inish because it is a very refined deck where you get to know all the cards after the first round or two. Like, you know everything that those cards can do that you're going to need to draft. I also kind of enjoy the drafting in like Isle of Cats, but I'm not like crazy about it. I feel like it could have had a different mechanism for that instead. But other than that, Scream Park though is a fantastic little drafting tableau builder. It only takes 30 minutes to play. That's probably why it stands out for me, is that like I don't like it when those games kind of drag on too much. And this one, it does not overstay its welcome, which is probably one of the biggest highlights for this game. Now, the other big highlight is the theme, because you are going to be building a haunted house. So each one of these cards that you're putting into your tableau is basically a room in the haunted house, and then you can actually put like attachments. You can add things to the room in the haunted house. So you're gonna build out this room, and then maybe you have to add some stuff to it to complete that room, because essentially the room is not going to score you full points unless you manage to complete the criteria. So each room has like a set of criteria symbols on it, and you're going to want to tuck cards to match that criteria to complete that feature in your haunted house. And I just love this fact. Like the theming on the cards is really cool. The name of the rooms is really cool. The additions you can put in the rooms is really cool. You can make that haunted house unique. You can make it yours, which, yeah, that's an amazing feeling in a tableau game. I also like that at the beginning of the game, everyone has dealt out 2 theme cards, and then you get to choose one of those theme cards to go with, and usually it's just more fun to choose the theme card based on what you're most interested in trying to create. So choosing that also gives you a kind of a goal of what symbols types you're going to try to collect. And overall, that's like that's the majority of the rules. Like, you're going to deal out player, I think 8 cards to each player. Every turn, you're just going to choose 2 and then pass your cards, depending on the day, to the left or the right. And then you're just going to keep on doing that. You're going to add cards to your tableau. Sometimes there's only one resource in the game. It's going to be workers. Sometimes you're going to need workers to be able to place cards into your tableau. Other times, you're going to just discard a card to gain like 2 workers or something. Now, there's another way you can kind of mitigate the randomness of the symbols that you see during the game. But I think if you discard both your cards, you can take like a genre card or something, which basically just guarantees you the symbol, a symbol that you may need for one of your rooms to complete it. Now, we didn't use that action during my game. Everyone kind of had a little more fun just trying to fit in the cards that they were drafted. So that's a thing there. But the other really cool part about this is that you have those VIP cards. So you're going to play 3 rounds, and each round has a different VIP visitor that's going to be going through your haunted house. And each VIP has a different set of criteria for it on how it's going to move into each room. Because essentially, at the end of each round, that's going to be one of the main scoring criteria at the end of the round. There's other scoring at the end of the game, but during the game, it's like that VIP is the important person. So you have a little meeple, and you're gonna take them, and you're gonna say, can they move into this first room based on their criteria? Maybe their criteria is something simple, like, oh, you need to have 3 cards in a room for them to move into that one. So if you have 3 cards in that first one, you get to move them in, and you score like 2 points. Now, if you don't have 3 cards on the next one, but you have like 3 cards on the next like 3, and you're like, I have 3 cards here, 2 cards here, then 3 and 3. Well, guess what? They stop moving. They do not move into that next room of 2 cards, so they just stop going through your haunted house. They're like, lost interest. Sorry, this is no good for me. So it gives you that incentive to try to design your haunted house kind of around what those VIP visitors are trying to do. And there's cool visitors. There's like the haunt brat out there. There's the police chief. I think there's a fire marshal. There's the pretentious reviewer card. Like, all of them are entertaining. They all have pretty simple conditions on them. I didn't find any real challenge in getting these things out. I really found the joy in just building out that tableau, building out that haunted house, trying to complete my rooms, and it was a mostly multiplayer solitaire game. But at the end of the game, we did read off like our haunted house rooms and like the additions we put on the haunted house rooms, and one player had an idea that I think I would implement on future plays where whoever has the best haunted house, you vote at the table or whatever, they get an extra 10 points at the end of the game. So I'd probably do that. So overall, great theming, great art, just a really, really nice production. I had a great time with this because, like I said, coming in at 30 minutes with a nice little drafting game, I think this is just fantastic. Okay, let's move on to the reason why I made a DVC Games purchase, because this one got a bunch of attention at the end, late last year, and this is going to be Pacts. So Pacts is a 2-player I Split You Choose game, and I really enjoy I Split You Choose. It's one of my favorite mechanics. I've reviewed Agent Avenue in the past. I'm totally blanking on Hana Makoji I've talked about in the past. I talked about that in my Agent Avenue review. And then I just picked up another one called Marabunta from Reiner Knizia that I'm excited to get that one played. And then Thief's Market is another one I think I'm going to be playing this weekend. So I Split You Choose, I really enjoy it, and I think my friend stated it best. It's a lot of fun when you manage to split a pile in a way that makes your opponent have to sit back and be like, ooh, that's a hard choice. Like, when you manage to pull that off in the I Split You Choose game, that's like the satisfying part. You're like, yeah, I gave you a hard choice. So that's kind of what stands out. And Pax pulls it off. Like, yeah, it does a great job with this. Now, there's a couple standout things here. One, once again, the production. DVC Games, they have this nice form factor here, and they all have cloth mats on the board. I feel like I need to iron some of them, but overall, just they look great. They look beautiful. The cards look nice. The card stock's good. Everything about them is just enjoyable. Now, I will say PAX just has like cubes to represent your forces in an area, so that's the part that fell a little flat on the production. Maybe some little meeples would have been nice, but other than that, the games look fantastic. Now, the game's going to start by you're both going to have an equal number of forces in like the center regions, and you're basically going to try to expand to take over other regions on the map. But you also get a hand of your private court cards, which no asymmetry there. You both get the same like 7 cards for the game. And then you're going to be dealt out a faction basically. So that faction is going to have different abilities on it. This is going to be the asymmetry. Like maybe you're gonna be able to do something with the, I don't know, place 3 cards or whatever. Maybe you can do a bonus effect on those. Maybe you're gonna have an ability that allows you to remove cards. So you have like a passive ongoing ability, and then you have like an active ability, because there's going to be these cards that show up that are called ability cards. Those ability cards let you activate your faction's ability, and usually those are pretty powerful. You want to be able to activate those. So then at the beginning of the round, you're both going to choose one of your private court cards, the ones that you don't are the same between players. You're going to choose one of those, put it face down, and then you're going to put out the selection for what's going to be split. And this is going to be like 4 common cards, one like advanced card, and then you're also going to put out the second player token, because that second player token is incredibly important, because going second in a round can be incredibly valuable, because then you get to see what the other player does first. So you're going to play over a total of 6 rounds, and you're going to do this each round, and then whoever's splitting in that round is going to take those 4 cards plus that 1 advanced card plus that second player token. They're going to make 2 separate piles and let the other player choose which one they want, and then they're going to get the other one. And then whoever ends up with whoever doesn't get that second player token is going to go first. They're going to process all of their cards in their section, including that one they played face down, and then the second player is going to go and modify their troops. And all these cards are super easy. It's like you're going to place things, you're going to move things. I think that's basically it. You're going to place and move things. The cards will be color-coded a lot of times. There are going to be some wild cards in there, though, that'll allow you to place anywhere, but a lot of them are going to be, they're going to have a specific color in each region. There are 2 regions for each color. So if you take the specific color, you can only operate in that region. And then the move cards, you just get to kind of shift your cubes around and stuff. Pretty simple actions to take during the game, which makes it process pretty quickly. It's just that I split you choose is always that's the hard part. Like making those piles, that's where things are gonna slow down, while that player has to figure out what are the consequences of this I split you choose action. Now, the other cool part is that you're going to score twice during this game. So you're going to score at the end of round 3, and then you're going to actually flip over all of the scoring tokens, because the scoring is actually going to change in the second round. So like, I think if you use the base setup, like the number 2 scoring region, or the 2-point scoring region is now going to turn into a 7-point scoring region. So if you know in advance like what those are, you might want to plan for that. You might be like, oh, I'm going to sacrifice this area that's worth more this round so I can get that 7-point scoring region the next round. So I really like that fact that you're actually going to change up the rewards on that second time through with those 3 rounds of I Split You Choose. Now, the I think this game is going to shine a little bit more with some of the variants. I think there's a variant in there where you actually get extra point tokens. You can kind of shuffle them all up and you put them out there. So this means that you're not going to know what the value is going to be when you do that second round. You're not going to know what's on the backs of those tiles. And this is a really cool idea that I think is going to make this game have a little more longevity, because I think if you just had the base game, maybe it would get a little bit old, a little bit stale faster than I would like. Although I still I really enjoyed the base game. But then the variants, I feel like it just they all sounded unique. I think there were like 3 or 4 variants on the back that I really want to give a shot and just explore this game more. Like I said, this is just a nice quick 2-player game. It says 20 minutes on there. I think that's an accurate thing. Josh and I, my friend, we went out to a bottle shop or whatever, and we got in 2 rounds of this like no problem, like even with the teach. So yeah, Pacts, probably my highlight on this list. I think I'm rating this like a 9 or a 10 on BGG right now. So I'm super excited to get Pacts played more. But yeah, that's going to do it for my thoughts on kind of these DVC games. Actually, I'm kind of blown away by this publisher. I'm super happy that I put in a purchase with them. I feel like even though Corvids fell a little, well, it didn't even fall flat for me. It was just like, it didn't have enough to bring it back to the table for me, but I thought it was a really cool concept, and it was a really fun game to play. Like, it was a fun experience. It's just, I don't know, maybe for me, experiencing it once was enough, right? And then, yeah, Screen Park, fantastic time. Really cool art, really cool concept, fun building out your haunted house. Mostly multiplayer solitaire with that drafting in there, but I had a great time because it doesn't overstay its welcome. Just a nice little tableau building drafting game. And then Pacts, yeah, blew me away with this I Split You Choose, the 2-player head-to-head thing. That's definitely a genre that I really enjoy. And then just that the 3 rounds, how the scoring tokens flip, and being able to have those variants to explore. I'm excited to return to that game. So that's going to do it for today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for spending your time with me. I always appreciate it, and I will talk to you next time.